Hey people, what's up? International MMA channel. My name's Hector, of course. This is my picks for Fox Sports 1's UFC Fight Night, which airs on this Friday. I believe it is December 6th. It'll be at 6 p.m. on the West. You guys figure it out everywhere else. It's going to be in Bisping. It looks like Queensland. This is going to be a great fight. It starts off with the females, Kenzie versus Korea. I'm going to give it for Kenzie. She's a veteran fighter. I think she has more experience. I think both of them are kind of the transition from Invicta. This is very exciting. Girls always want to come out and bang it out, and I love that. They always want to prove that they're better than the guys, and sometimes, most of the times when they're on the card, they are correct. They come out swinging. They come to show everything that they got, but I got to give it to Kenzie. Next one is Andrew versus Hector. Both fighters fairly new to the UFC. I'm going to have to give it to Andrews. He's 18-5. Clint Hector is 8-3. You know, takedowns, he's very dangerous with his grappling skills. He has a better, and he's also better in the striking significance. So I'm going to have to give it to Hector. The next one is Pat Barry versus Pelele, the Hulk. This is going to be an interesting fight. Pat Barry's coming off a loss. So Pelele is also. Pat Barry's 8-6. Pelele's 19-3. I'm going to have to give it to Pat Barry. Before that, Pelele's been out for a while. He came back in August. He fought. He won. But after that, he fought in 2007 and I think 2004. So he's been out for a long time. I think Pat Barry's very hungry. This guy's kind of a win-or-lose kind of thing. Like, he gives great fights and he likes to go for the knockout, but unfortunately sometimes he gets knocked out doing it. And so he has to be very careful with Pelele too. He's one of these guys, has great, I think he has better knockout ratio than Pat Barry. So Pat Barry has to be very protective about himself and when he's coming in for the striking. So, but I'm still going to give it to HD. Pat Barry, that's my prediction for that one. Those are heavyweights. And then we go to a light heavyweight fight. Bader versus Perosh. Bader is coming off a loss with Glover Teixeira. Glover Teixeira won after winning that. I think he brought down Brian Bader to number 4. He was number 3 or 2. Glover Teixeira took him out. He was supposed to fight John Jones for the belt. Something happened with Jones where he had to pull out. So now Teixeira is going to be fighting Alexander Gustafsson, and the winner of that one will actually go back. It might be a rematch. It might be. I'm a huge Glover Teixeira fan, so I'm going to go with Teixeira on that one. But for this one, I'm actually going to give it to I believe it's Andrew. It's Anthony. I'm going to give it to Anthony Perosh, the Hippo. I like this guy's style. I've seen him a couple times. He's a very vicious striker. Both of them look better. The only problem is if Bader tries to take Perosh down, Perosh might have a little bit of an issue, but I think Perosh is going to stay and avoid the takedowns and stuff the takedowns, and I think you might have fight of the night on this one, and I think Perosh is going to come out, I'll even predict it as a KO. I'm giving it to the Hippo on this one. A lot of people might disagree with me, but I'm giving it to Anthony Perosh on this one. The next one is a co-main event. It's Mauricio Shogun Rua versus James Te-Huna. James Te-Huna has been on a tear right now in the UFC. Shogun recently fought, I believe, Chael Sonnen and lost, and actually showed his, and Te-Huna actually lost to Glover Teixeira. But after that, he's been winning. He won against Joey Beltran, who's now with Bellator, Aaron Rosa, Ricardo Romeo, Ryan Jumo. So, you know, this guy's a great fighter, a great season. Very infamous. He has a great takedown. But, you know, Shogun is Shogun. We talk about Shogun. Sometimes you see the aging Shogun, and then you see the smart Shogun. You never know what Shogun you're gonna get, but I'm gonna have to give it to Shogun. Shogun still shows that he wants to be a top contender. Right now he's ranking number 9, so he's kind of like a gatekeeper. That's nothing to give away to Shogun. Shogun can explode, and when he wants to fight, he's gonna fight. He's coming off 2 losses right off the bat. He's coming off Chael Sonnen and Alexander Gustafsson. Then he beat Brandon Vera. He lost to Dan Henderson. He won to Forrest Griffin. So Shogun's been off and on. He's kind of, you know, he's kind of not showing a lot, but he's fought top tough fighters. You're talking about Chael Sonnen. You're talking about Alexander Gustafsson. These are great fighters, and nothing to give away against Shogun. So I'm going to have to give it a Shogun on this one. I think he's a better striker, and I think he's going to close the distance with James Te-Huna. And I think him being more of a seasoned veteran fighter, I think he has a lot more, I think he has a lot more still in the UFC, and I'm going to have to give it to Mauricio Shogun Rua. This next one is Mark Hunt, and it's the main event. Mark, the Super Samoan Hunt, versus Antonio Bigfoot Silva. Great fight. Just, great fight. Antonio Silva still ranked number 4. He recently came off a loss to I went blank, to Cain Velasquez. He fought him for the belt and lost in the first round, but then you forget that great fight he had against All-Star Overeem and then Travis Brown. He won against Travis Brown. And Travis Brown has now been on a tear in the UFC heavyweight division, and he might be a possible fighter to be coming up for the belt. But before that, Antonio Silva took him out. So, James Te-Huna, but the Super Samoan was on a bigger streak than him. He came off a loss to Junior Dos Santos, who recently fought Cain Velasquez. The Super Samoan was on a tear with Stephen Struve, Czech Congo, Ben Rothwell, Chris Takashir. He's been a great fighter. And, at the time he asked to fight for the heavyweight championship, when nobody else was out and people were pulling out injured, he asked to be a fill-in. They didn't give it to him. He actually got in the rankings where he was going to be able to fight Cain Velasquez for the belt. He just had to pass Junior Dos Santos. We all know what happened to that. Junior Dos Santos beat him, knocking him out in the third round with a head kick. But Mark Hunt is one of these fighters that's a real fighter. And the way I say that is he's not an MMA fighter. He's a straight out fighter. He could take a punch. He could take a beating. In the back in the days, he was a great grappler. He's a great fighter, but recently, he's noticed that he has knockout power, so he'll try to knock everybody out. Which then, giving all that power, and he's a heavy guy, he starts gassing out really fast. So for maybe the second round, it's kind of, if he doesn't pull it off, you have to give it to Silva. But I think that Silva, on the other hand, is one of these kind of fighters that likes to take his time, likes to close the distance, get the points, take the takedown, and he will look for a choke and everything else. I'm not saying that about him, but he's more of a strategy fighter than James Te-Huna. Mark Hunt is going to go out and try to look for the knockout. And if he gets it, he's going to get it. We all saw that with when Bigfoot fought Overeem. Overeem was winning the fight until he got knocked out. And so he lets the fighter control it, and then he tries to wait for a mistake, and then he goes and explodes on it. That's the kind of fighter Bigfoot is. It's a smart fight. But with Mark Hunt, I think he has a lot more damage to get than from Overeem. Overeem is a great knockout artist, but Overeem's kind of that guy that works you to a knockout, meaning that he gives those vicious knees, he gives those vicious kicks to the body, he tires you out and then tries to knock you out, which is a great strategy. Mark Hunt just has a fucking concrete fist that he'll try to ram into your face and knock you out. And that's why I have to give it to Mark Hunt. I'm a Super Samoan fan. What can I say? I like Bigfoot, but on this one, I'm going to have to say that Mark Hunt is probably going to look for the knockout, and he might be successful on that one. This is Hector from International MMA Channel. Go ahead and follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/IMMA Channel, and you can follow us on Twitter at IMMA Channel. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube. I'd like to thank everybody who takes the chance to watch these fights or watch our predictions. Thanks to all the crew from across the sea, from Brazil to Brasilia. Thanks to the UK, to Ben. We couldn't do... This is what we do. We enjoy it. We hope you guys enjoy it. Let us know. Subscribe to our channel. This is Hector. Good night. Good fight.